Max Verstappen has admitted to living with a serious medical condition caused by none other than Lewis Hamilton. We knew their rivalry was bad, but we had no idea it was this bad. Let's hear about the Dutchman's condition in today's video. Keep watching. Max Verstappen has recently revealed that he has been dealing with a vision problem since his crash at the 2021 British Grand Prix, which happened during a high-speed duel with Lewis Hamilton. This incident was one of the key moments in a season-long, intense battle between Red Bull and Mercedes. The season ended with the 26-year-old Dutchman winning his first title in controversial fashion on the last lap of the final race in Abu Dhabi. On the opening lap of the race at Silverstone 3 years ago, Verstappen and Hamilton fought for the lead through the high-speed Copse corner. Their slight wheel-to-wheel contact sent Verstappen hurtling across the gravel and into a tyre barrier with a 51G impact. The aftermath of that race was a disaster, and it has only recently come to light that Verstappen is still dealing with the after-effects of that heavy crash. In an interview with the Red Bulletin about the top 10 wins from his 61 F1 career victories, Verstappen ranked the 2021 United States GP as number 7. His explanation for this choice is jaw-dropping. He said, "Since my Silverstone crash, I've been struggling with visibility problems, especially on undulating circuits or those with lots of advertising boards along the side of the track. In this race, I wasn't just battling against Lewis, but also against blurry images. It was like driving a speedboat at 300 km/h. I've never told you this before, but for a few laps it was so bad that I seriously considered turning the car off. The only thing that helped was concentrating on my breathing while Lewis was breathing down my neck. An important victory that I desperately needed in the fight for the World Championship." With another race weekend where Red Bull didn't have the fastest Formula One car, how concerned should the reigning world champions be? And is it fair to blame their struggles on Max Verstappen's blurry vision? When Red Bull unveiled its RB20 during pre-season testing in Bahrain, it seemed like another year of dominance was on the horizon. Fast forward 4 months, and the competitive landscape has changed dramatically. Mercedes has finally unlocked the potential of its ground effect car with a series of upgrades, and McLaren has continued its impressive development trajectory. Issues with its latest upgrade package have caused Ferrari to take a step back, but the team has still been competitive at tracks that suit the SF24. In the past 7 Grands Prix, 5 drivers from 4 different teams have claimed victories. This diversity is great news for Formula One fans, as the second half of 2024 is shaping up to be a thrilling season. For Red Bull, things haven't been as positive. So where has their big advantage from the start of 2024 gone? The usual explanation is that teams tend to catch up as regulations remain stable, leaving Red Bull with less performance to extract from the current rulebook. Meanwhile, rival teams that struggled in 2022 and 2023 are gradually finding the right solutions to the questions Red Bull had already answered. These teams are now figuring out how to generate downforce and performance across different corner types with the low-slung ground effect cars. Add to that the sliding scale of development time, which reduces wind tunnel and CFD runs based on a team's success, and Red Bull faces a double whammy. Their early head start has now turned into a long-term handicap. McLaren CEO Zak Brown said, "I think they got to a kind of terminal velocity quicker than the rest of us. There does come a point of diminishing returns as far as just how much you can continue to develop a car. To their credit, they got there first and now we're all just caught up, or almost caught up." While Christian Horner has bumped heads with Zak Brown on several recent topics, for once the Red Bull team boss agreed with him. "It's no secret that we have less development time than the others and we're at the top of the curve. So you're into diminishing returns," he said. But one person who refuses to accept no for an answer is Max Verstappen, who has consistently urged his team to double down on finding improvements rather than accepting their current situation. He made this clear at the beginning of the recent triple header. "We could say, yes, it's normal. I don't think it's normal. We do have to keep working hard. If we think this is normal, people are going to overtake us. Every day I'm working with the engineers and I also try to push for updates to come earlier." Horner remains hopeful that the updates Red Bull is working on will make a difference, but he admitted that any gains now depend on the smallest details, a challenge faced by all the top teams. "I think there is stuff that we have in the pipeline. Whilst we are at the top of the curve, there are still gains to be had. Inevitably, when the grid closes, it is down to those marginal fine details that make the difference. The form is moving around a bit. Mercedes were strong in Silverstone. McLaren were strong last week. We won the week before in Barcelona. You go from Austria, where we qualified 4/10 clear of the whole field. In Silverstone, we would have been in the hunt for the pole without Verstappen's Q1 floor damage. At the end of the race, Max was hunting Lewis Hamilton down and came from 10 seconds back to a second and a bit. I think, out of this triple header, I wouldn't at all be surprised if Max has scored the most points. With their chokehold on the competitor losing grip, rumours about Sergio Perez's future with Red Bull continue to circulate. The 2024 Formula One season started with Perez on a contract set to expire at the end of the campaign, fueling speculation that he might not be with the team beyond 2024. Ahead of the Canadian Grand Prix, several key decisions were made. Red Bull announced a new contract with Perez that could see him remain in his current seat through the 2026 season. Additionally, it was confirmed that VCARB was retaining Tsunoda, exercising an option to keep the driver for the 2025 campaign. So, with 3 seats set for 2025, including Max Verstappen's secure position at Red Bull as long as he desires, the remaining slot appeared to be between Ricciardo and Lawson as potential options. Or so we thought. Since then, Perez has faced career-endangering challenges, with Christian Horner labelling his current form as unsustainable. Perez has only scored 11 points since the contract announcement. He finished outside the points in Canada and in the British Grand Prix last weekend, managing only 8th place in the Spanish Grand Prix. His best result in recent race weekends was a 7th place finish at the Red Bull Ring. Perez is now facing renewed pressure, not only due to his recent poor form, but also because 2024 presents a different landscape in Formula One compared to 2023. Red Bull relies on both Verstappen and Perez performing at a high level to stay ahead of their rivals. Currently, Perez's performance is not meeting those expectations. After the British Grand Prix, Horner said, "Perez knows it's unsustainable to not be scoring points. We have to be scoring points in that car and he knows that. He knows his role and his target, so nobody is more eager than Checo to find his form again. It's something we're acutely aware of, that to win the Constructors' Championship you need both cars scoring." Adding to the pressure on Perez, Dr. Helmut Marko, known for his headline-worthy remarks, has intensified the scrutiny on the driver. In a recent interview with 247 Grand Prix, the Red Bull senior advisor mentioned the presence of exit clauses in all Red Bull contracts. He indicated that a decision regarding Perez's future will be made during the summer break, following the next 2 races. All Formula One contracts have exit clauses, most of them related to performance or let's say for the top drivers, said Marko. As I mentioned before, we will have an evaluation during the summer break and then we will make a decision. Regarding potential replacements for Perez, Marko shifted the discussion away from Lawson, who is currently driving the RB20 at Silverstone in a filming session, and towards Tsunoda. "First we have to see," added Marko. "Lawson is testing at Silverstone on Thursday, and so 2 more races and there will be more outings with Lawson. There's also Yuki Tsunoda who is doing very well." Former Haas boss Guenther Steiner has expressed his opinion that Red Bull should activate the performance clause in its contract with Perez to remove the Mexican from the team. Steiner discussed this on the Red Flags podcast, stating, "Let's say in the scenario where Checo does not improve his performance, he should be replaced mid-season. If Perez doesn't improve in the races before the summer break, after the summer break, we may see somebody else in the car." Who? The obvious candidate is Liam Lawson. He's there. He's ready to go and he did a good job last year. So, should Red Bull start looking for someone better to support Max Verstappen and his bad vision? Tell us what you think in the comment section down below. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thanks for watching.